Leslie, and really receive this this healing again, so freely bestowed upon us. And so that way we don't miss this moment that we are together listening, recognizing every pulse and every chord and every word and every beat of that piece of music, that piece. As Leslie often writes, P-I-E-C-E and P-E-A-C-E. And so let us really create something anew and something different on this Sunday night, this March 28th of 2021. Let us breathe and exhale. And let us step in to our power, a healthy power that is tempered. That means business. And recognizing that it is here where we come into truth. And we come into a place of the soul. And when we sink deeply into this place, no hurt, harm, or danger can come near us. And not only will there be no hurt, harm, or danger near us, but we can actually push off from the banks into a new world, into a new place of vision, into a new way and a new day. My friends, we have been in the Hope Cycle teaching for almost 6 months. Almost 6 months. This is the 23rd sermon, but we missed, I think, 1 or 2 Sundays. So that's why we're almost at exactly a half of a year journeying in this Hope Cycle teaching. And right now, recognize that which you have learned in this time. Let us reflect and let us just sit and think about the different places we have been with one another in this hope cycle. Recalling backwards now that we began in stage one, which is hope. And this stage was the dark night of the soul. And it took place in the desert, crawling on our hands and crawling on the desert floor on our knees. But see, something happened that was very miraculous, like a burning bush experience. And that was that we saw this candle that represents hope. We saw it at the end of the first stage, and that divine spark illuminated us. And what did it tell us? It told us that we were alive. And that was the only a covenant and the only promise that was there before us, just that we are alive. And that was enough, my friends. And from this stage one of hope and this covenant of being alive, of breathing in and out, we had choice. We had choice whether we were going to move forward in the second stage. Every single stage, there is choice. And so we took another another step, another crawl, I should say. And stage 2, this is very big tonight. There's a lot here. Stage 2 was curiosity. And see, curiosity, it didn't mean that we suddenly were all better because we saw this hope and then we felt that we were alive. No, it was just an infinitesimal little a lift up of our heads and beginning to ask the question, what if my life could change? And not just your life, not just my life, not just our life, but what if the world could change? That was the other question. What if my life could change? What if your life could change? And then the bigger question, what if our lives could change? What if this world could really change? What if there could be transformation? Just a little lift of the head in curiosity. And from this place now we chose again to go just a little bit further. And that was the third stage, wonder. And wonder, we lifted our head up and we began to look around in a wondrous way. And in this place of wonder, we realized, I believe that, yes, things will change. And we had to claim it. We had to claim, because everything will always change. Nothing will ever stay stagnant. But we had to actually claim, no, my life is going to change for the better. I am committed, or to use Manny's word, I am dedicated tonight to seeing to that my life and our lives will change for the better. And with that, we were able to stand up on our feet for the first time in a very long time. And we rose up on our feet and we began to walk. And then we began to run. And we ran ourselves all the way out of that desert. We left it and we saw the waterfall. And the waterfall was a place where we took respite and we took refuge, because boy, did we need it. We needed to swim in the holy water that was the divine feminine. We needed to really lay back and rest. Because why? Because nothing, as I said before a moment ago, nothing is ever going to stay the same. And we knew that at some point we were going to have to get our patooties out of that water and we were going to have to leave. And sure enough, that's what happened. We had to move forward into the jungle. So number 1, hope. Number 2 stage, curiosity. Number 3, wonder. And number 4, this jungle stage, is exploration. And this, my friends, we went from to saying, I'm alive, we're alive, to saying, what if, to the 3rd stage of I believe, to the 4th stage saying, I'm honest. See, the jungle is a very, almost a frenetic stage, because we're going through the shrubbery and all of the foliage. And I even imagined a machete would be needed sometimes to not just push away the foliage and see what is there, to see within us, to see what parts of ourselves contain violence in any form. To also even have enough bravery to look around us and to really see what our society and our culture and the systems and all of that violence, to see it with a clear eye, to be very focused and to be honest. And so we continued with this, breaking these things down to pushing away, to cutting away this foliage in the jungle, and also to noticing the jungle floor. That at a certain point, there are blessings, there are blessings, and there are lessons that are awaiting us on this jungle floor, that there is also beauty. there is also beauty here, my friends. It's a big journey. It's a big, big journey. Again, we have choice. You don't have to move forward on any of this. We don't. But we will. We must. And so as we made our way through this jungle, there was a bellow. And this is when it gets into some mysticism. And we heard the voice of God, or maybe for some of you, it might be just the voice of love. You might be better suited to hearing it put that way. And that voice said, "Come, be with me." And it called us forward out of the jungle into this cave that we were sort of had some misgivings about, because caves are, let's face it, as Rob Gross, when he was coming up with the music for this, we even discussed it. There is this foreboding kind of ominous sense about caves. But we said yes, we made the choice, and we went into this cave. And we heaved all of that everything we'd learned, the hope and the curiosity and the wonder and the exploration. And in this cave of churn and burn, stage 5, we sat with God. We sat with love. And in this place of sitting, and to think of now calling in Leslie's song, we listened. And in that listening, we were able to hear the grief of 1,000 lifetimes. And maybe we raged and pushed back on that which we don't want to know about. And in that, we also were given a gift of praise. Because in the words of Martin Prechtel says, you cannot grieve without praising, and you cannot praise without grieving. And so a funny thing happened in this cave, my friends, is that we actually began to love it here. It became that "come be with me" was such a wonderful gift to us and to our souls. And so, yes, in the grief and in the praise and in the mysticism with the God, with the holy, we sat. And then we didn't want to go. Yeah, then we didn't want to leave. Yeah, but that's not the way life goes. Again, similar to the waterfall, but a little bit different energetically. We realize we have to continue to move forward. And so just as we were called in, we were called out. And stage 6 called us. And that stage 6 is the stage of believe. And let me tell you that cave, that statement in the cave, my friends, is I don't know. That is the stage of I don't know. And there's something about beautiful about being in the I don't know. It's very humbling. It's the humility. It washes over us. It's okay to not know. In fact, it's really important. But in the stage 6 of believe, we were invited to our knowing. And I really struggled with this one because there is so much we don't know. There is so much to be humble about. You have to be very careful and very mindful. But the knowing that I was talking about, my friends, this is the knowing that we're born with. This is the knowing that maybe when you were very small and very little, you just had a sense of things. You just knew things. It's beyond thoughts and words. It's beyond theory. And so I invited us all to never again doubt our knowing, ever. From this place, we met a way shower, a guide that said, do you believe? And it was a different kind of believe. It was, are you going to accept your knowing? That was the charge. And it was like, you do not pass go until you say an emphatic yes. And so once we committed, we were able to go forward. And then we realized, oh, I am at the bottom of the mountain. I'm actually feeling the fatigue from this, quite honestly. It's a lot to move. So let's do this together. Yeah, let's do it together, because the word tonight that I am remembering and that I'm lifting up is that this is about community. We cannot do this alone. We are not meant to do this alone. And that's where this gets really exciting in the hope cycle, is because, as I've told you before, every time I've taught it, it changes and it shifts. And this was the most changed it ever had been. And what I see now, my friends, is that as we are making this ascension, and that is not to say that we are better than anybody. It is not to say a top-down model. No, 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 no. It is to describe and talk about the commitment that it takes to move forward in this love that we have been reframing in a very radical and in a very bold way. And as I said, we can't do this alone. Imagine with me now. Imagine this, please. We've imagined the desert and all that, and into the water, and from the jungle and water into the jungle, into the cave, and seeing this guide. And imagine us all. Yeah, this fills me. I hope it fills you. Imagine us all trekking up this mountain. And the reason we are trekking up this mountain and making this ascension that is an initiation is because where we seek to go is an absolutely new way of living, and a new way of being, and a new way of seeing a world where we all are safe, where we're not inflicted and imbued with this dis-ease of violence, of gun shootings almost every single day, of some form of oppression for folks in marginalized communities. And that's not even enough. Recognizing that a negative piece is simply the absence of those things. No, what we're seeing at the top of the mountain, at the mountaintop, is thriving, is effervescence, is not just brave spaces, but really, truly safe spaces, sustainable environments, and reciprocal relationships. This is where we are trekking. And this is why we need each other. We need each other as we are going up steadfastly, making our way. And if we see one of us slipping and beginning to subscribe or to go back to an old way, we can go, no, I got you. I got you. And we help each other along as we continue this trek, as we continue this struggle, as we continue this fight for justice and for this love reframed. Recalling that love, my friends, this isn't a passive force. This isn't a wimpy force. This isn't something antiquated. It's we just turn our cheeks and we bleed out and we just go overboard with compassion. No, that this love It is compassion. It is all of those things of value and justice. And it is so much more because it is limitless. There is no beginning. There is no end. It is the Alpha and the Omega. It is. It is. It is. It is infinite. It love. It is this energy. It is this force. It is this power for change. Yes, and it is also containing strategy. Huh. You see why it's this is so much? Do you see? Do you see it? So we are making our way up this mountaintop, my friends, and tonight, you know, we are there. Because you know why? You know, here's the thing. In Hinduism, there's something called samadhi. And samadhi, you know, is this last stage. You know, that's enlightenment, right? It's this very noble thing that, you know, maybe if we're lucky, we'll get to it like a second before we die. But I want to push back on that too. I want to push back on all of this, like reaching the mountaintop that is love and all of these things, because otherwise it's just we don't try. We stop before we get there. We need to bring this down, like manna being ushered down from the heavens. See, that love is accessible to us. Yes. That love, it lifts us. It inspires us to create the change that God is calling us to do. And there in that love is honesty. And there in that love is courage. And there in that love is the demands of our souls. That's what I didn't tell you last time. I only said one of those, and that was honesty. That when we forget ourselves, that when we forget each other, we disconnect and we blot love out. So one of the best ways we can begin to come back and continue up that mountain and stay there is through connection. And yes, that does mean being honest about who we are, about who you are, about who I am, about who we are. And it also means something else. Number two, it means having courage. Courage. Think of that, the word courage coming from core, the Latin, the heart. And number three, something that I'm not even sure how I mean this actually, but this hunger of the soul and the demands. We must demand. We can demand from God, whatever you call God. God, help us. God, what would you have us be? What would you have us do? Set our feet right. Set our vision higher. There are many ways, my friends, to continue on this trek up the mountain and to be there with each other at the mountaintop, not in a blissed out way and not in a checked out way, but in a way that is actually building community and building a new world that is a world that, again, is imbued with a positive peace, with the values that we believe in, like compassion and like justice, transformative justice, restorative justice. I see us there, my friends. I see us there. Because this isn't the end. Seventh stage, this isn't the end. This is only the beginning. It's only the beginning. And if and when, and this is really important right now, if and when we see one of our family, whether it's someone here or someone you know that doesn't come to these services, if and when you see them and they're in a dark night of the soul, they're in that desert, then we go to them. We go to them and we bring them some hope. And if you see someone and they're wavering in that curiosity and they're not really believing that their life can change, then we go to them. We do not lose sight of them. We bring them what they need. Maybe it's a God of their own understanding, and we serve in that way. We help them maybe reconnect. Or maybe it's making them laugh, bringing them some wonder. And if we see ourselves and those around us faltering in that honesty and that jungle experience, and not really taking a clear look at where we're at, then we hold ourselves accountable and we go there. And in that cave, if we need to reside and take a little bit of a break and take some time to grieve, we grieve together. We do not grieve alone. We do this in community. And we praise much the same. And so it goes. We do not lose sight of one another, ever. The risk of us being transparent and living from a place of truth and this place of love. We recall when we become, if we become afraid, we recall all that we have been through in our lives. All of you have so much life experience. All of you have so much wisdom. All of you have so many gifts. You really do. And so we call upon all of that right now. Let us just sit a moment and see if anything else needs to be spoken. As we complete this time, as I said, there is no end. This is only the beginning. And we get to forever learn and forever struggle in an exciting way, in a joyful way, about what love is. And expand with it and chew on it and bring it to each other and create with one another and be steadfast in community. Not just tonight, not just for an hour and a half at these services, week in, week out, but all through our lives. Let us commit. Let us commit to living from this place of real freedom and real power and real truth. Can we all commit to that? Can we all commit to stepping in? And I believe this is how I started tonight, to stepping into this place of healthy power, not distorted, healthy power, which contains truth, which contains this place of the soul. This love, my friends, this is what awaits us. And if we need that help, like I said, if we see someone faltering, if that person is you, please let us know. This is the revolution of love, and this is the reciprocity that we get to experience and that we get to create. And I'm grateful for each and every single one of you. And let us journey forward together. That's it. That's it for now. And so let us say together, everyone say, and so it is. And so it is. So mote it be. Okay. Let us lift up prayers. I'm going to invite you right now to put prayer requests up in the chat. Whew. Okay. So if you have prayers, please do put those prayer requests in the chat and we will pray for you. I will get to pray for you in a moment. And let us breathe in, breathing in. And Holy One, giving thanks for all that is,